Hey, it's me, PCPatientZero. We're about to do one of the spookiest scenes in the play. What play, you ask? Shakespeare's Macbeth. Are you ready for Act 3, Scene 4? This is the banquet scene, you know, the banquet that Macbeth has been inviting everyone to. By the way, if I sneeze a lot, it's because my spooky candle is scented, and sometimes that makes me sneeze. That's why. Alright, let's get started on this puppy. The banquet is prepared. Enter Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords, and attendants. And Macbeth himself, of course. And he welcomes them all. You know your own degrees, sit down. At first and last, the hearty welcome. By you know your own degrees, he means you all know where to sit. Like degrees on a compass. Now, lords say, thanks to your majesty. Macbeth. Ourself will mingle with society and play the humble host. Our hostess keeps her state. But in best time, we will require her welcome. And Lady Macbeth, pronounce it for me to all our friends. For my heart speaks that they are welcome. And then one of the murderers comes in and is kind of like hanging out in a dark corner because that's what they do. And Macbeth is talking to his wife. See, they encounter thee with their heart's thanks. Both sides are even. Here, sit in the midst, be large with mirth. Anon we'll drink and measure the table round. And then he notices the murderer and he goes over there and he's like, there's blood upon thy face. Subtle, dude. The murderer says, 'tis Banquo's then. Macbeth, 'tis better thee without than he within. Is he dispatched? Oh, it's better that his blood is on your face than in his body. Did you kill him? My lord, his throat is cut, that I did for him. Thou art the best of the cutthroats. Yet he's good that did the like for Fleance. If thou didst it, thou art a nonpareil. Most royal sir, Fleance is scaped. Uh-oh. Macbeth does not like the sound of this. Then comes my fit again. I had else been perfect. Whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I am cabined, cribbed, confined, bound to saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo safe? And the murderer, in creepy fashion, says, Aye, my lord, safe in the ditch he bides, with 20 trenched gashes in his head, the very least a death to nature. So not only did he slit Banquo's throat, he stabbed him in the head 20 times. This guy believes in double tap and overkill and all of that all at once. And Macbeth is like, thanks for that. There the grown serpent lies, the worm that's fled, hath nature that in time will venom breed. No teeth for the present, get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again. And the murderer leaves. And Lady Macbeth is like, come on, back to the feast, your guests are waiting. And Macbeth is about to do that when suddenly the ghost of Banquo comes in and sits down in Macbeth's spot. Now, there's always been a lot of controversy. Is this an actual ghost, or is this just a psychotic break that Macbeth is having, seeing Banquo's ghost at his table because of his guilty conscience over killing his best friend? Which do you think it is? Feel free to leave a comment. I know you're out there watching this video. Comment which you think it is. Macbeth hasn't noticed the ghost yet, though. He's talking to Lady Macbeth. Sweet remembrancer. Now, good digestion wait on appetite, and health on both. And Lennox says, may it please your highness sit. And Macbeth says, here had we our country's honour roofed. Were the grace and person of our Banquo present, who may I rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance. He's like, oh man, sucks that Banquo's not here. Ross says, his absence, sir, lays blame upon his promise. Please it your highness, to grace us with your company? He's like, Banquo promised to be here. He's a loser face. Now, come sit at the table. And then Macbeth notices the ghost, and he says, the table's full. And Lennox points to the place because he can't see the ghost. Here is a place reserved, sir. Where? Here, my good lord. What is it moves your highness? And Macbeth thinks it's a trick. Which of you have done this? And the lords are all like, what, my good lord? And then Macbeth talks right to the ghost. Thou canst not say I did it. Never shake thy gory locks at me, because apparently the ghost is shaking its head. And Ross, knowing that something's going on, says, gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well. And Lady Macbeth, as usual, doing damage control for her crazy husband. Sit, worthy thanes, my lord is often thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you, keep seat. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him and extend his passion. Feed and regard him not. So he's like, oh, he's always been crazy. You just never noticed before. He does this all the time. Just go back to eating your food. And then she turns to Macbeth and she's like, are you a man? Aye, and a bold one that dare look on that which might appall the devil. And Lady Macbeth is still pissed. Oh, proper stuff. This is the very painting of your fear. This is the air-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and starts, impostors to true fear, would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces? When all's done, you look but at a stool. She's like, why are you being such a wuss? You keep talking about these spooky things, but like it's totally just like a bedtime story or something. There's nobody there. Weirdo. Prithee, see there, behold, look, says Macbeth. And to the ghost, lo, how say you? Ghost doesn't say anything. What care I if thou canst nod? Speak too. And he yells at the ghost for a bit. And Lady Macbeth is like, what? Quite unmanned in folly. And the ghost has left. If I stand here, I saw him, says Macbeth. And Lady Macbeth says, fie for shame, because she is just really mad at him for being so weird at their party. And Macbeth waxes on about how he's killed people because he has killed people, and in sneaky, underhanded ways, which I think is really the problem here. He didn't just kill people, he was sneaky about it, which in Scottish culture at this time is not cool. Not honorable at all. Lady Macbeth points out, my worthy lord, your noble friends do lack you. Get back to the party, buddy. Macbeth, I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. They're all probably going, we're your friends, we know you, and we have never seen you do this shit before. Okay. And then he calls for wine, but the ghost is back. But he says, I drink to the general joy of the whole table, and to our dear friend Banquo, whom we miss. Would he were here. To all and him we thirst, and all to all. And the Lord say our duties and pledge. And as they raise their cups, Macbeth notices the ghost is there again. Avaunt and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee. Thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold. Thou hast no speculation in those eyes with which thou dost glare. And Lady Macbeth is still trying to cover this up and save this craziness. Think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other. Only it spoils the pleasure of the time. She's like, he just does this all the time. Totally does this all the time. Oh my gosh, quit freaking out. And Macbeth keeps yelling at the ghost. And finally the ghost leaves. And Lady Macbeth is well and truly pissed because he really has now completely ruined the party. You have dispatched the mirth, broke the good meeting, with the most admired disorder. Macbeth says, can such things be and overcome like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange. even the disposition that I owe. When now I think you can behold such sights, and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks when mine is blanched with fear. And Ross says, what sights, my lord? Lady Macbeth, I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him. At once, good night. Stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once. So she's like, all right, out, out, out. Party over. Get out. He's gone. He's lost his shit. And everybody leaves, except of course Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Macbeth is still tweaking out. It will have blood, they say. Blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and coughs and rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night? She says, almost at odds with the morning, which is which? So it's like, it's early morning. It's only like 4, maybe 5 in the morning. Macbeth says, how sayest thou that Macduff denies his person at our great bidding? And she asks, did you send to him, sir? So now he's thinking about Macduff and why he's not there. Or wasn't there, because everybody had to go home. I will tomorrow, and betimes I will, to the weird sisters. More shall they speak. For now I am bent to know, by the worst means the worst. For mine own good, all causes shall give way. I am in blood stepped in so far, should I wade no more, returning were as tedious as the goer. Strange things I have in head that will to hand, which must be acted on ere they may be scanned. So he's like, I'm gonna go see the weird sisters and ask them what's going on. And he's also saying that he is up to here in blood. It's really just as hard to go back now as it is to go forward. He's probably going to go forward. And Lady Macbeth thinks that maybe he's just sleep deprived. You lack the season of all nature, sleep. And Macbeth says, come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that wants hard use. We are yet but young indeed. And then they leave. So that is the end of 3-4. Pretty crazy, huh? See, a lot of people think that Lady M is the crazy one, but she just seems to be the together one. She seems to be the one who's really trying to save this whole thing. I mean, he came to her and he said, I want to be king. She said, okay, here's how. She seems like the logical one who's figuring out the problems and solving them, and he seems like the one who keeps freaking out and losing his shit. So, yeah, ponder that.